Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 19th, 2025 Hyde Park Planning Board session. In case of an emergency, please note the exit signs so that you can exit in an orderly fashion. If you could, please stand with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please pardon my voice. I'm just getting over acute bronchitis, which blew out my vocal cords. So, but this is better than it's been. So, if we could, we're starting with the public hearings. New public hearing for Stewart Shop is up first. Could we have the representatives please come forward and state your name for the record?
Hi, Jeremy Lawless, on behalf of Stewart Shops.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I know that you have sent us updated site plans based on our discussion at the last meeting. If you wanted to just give a quick little overview, that would be great.
Sure. I mean, the one piece that was just missing on the last set of plans was just that we have our free air, and it was omitted on there. It is remaining in the same location, so we made sure we added that. And again, just to summarize what our intentions are is to, similar to our 149, number 149 East Park shop, is to just do a faux stone exterior with a siding treatment on it as well on the two sides, on the north and the east elevations of it. And then also on the rear of the property to remove propane tanks that are currently there that are not necessary, and also install a remote transfer switch so that if we needed a mobile generator, we could hook it up and keep power.
Excellent. And we did hear back from the Dutchess County Planning. They called it it was just
Matter of local concern.
I'm sorry, what?
Matter of local concern.
Matter of local. So there's no concerns there. We do have a resolution prepared for tonight.
Okay.
But in the meantime, let me just take a quick swing around for any other comments.
Sure.
Tad, any comments here?
No comments.
Ms. Franson? Mr. Sotero? Ms. Palabdaro?
Nope.
Thank you. Mr. Tuttle?
Nothing.
Mr. Waters?
Nothing.
Mr. Oliver?
No comments.
Ms. Lee?
No comment.
Mr. Garcia?
No comments.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this application? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Is there anybody in the public who would like to speak to this application? Okay, there being none, may I please have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we do have the resolution prepared, and I believe, Ms. Lee, this is yours. This is your first one.
This is my
Did
first one.
Did you explain, we only do the,
So you're going to take this.
it should be right in front of you,
Don't I just read this part? Okay.
and it's just the bolded ones.
Okay. First one.
All right.
A resolution to grant the site plan approval for Stewart Shop. Today's date, March 19th, 2025. It's resolution number 2025-02A. Whereas, now therefore be it resolved. The planning board hereby grants amended site plan approval to the project as depicted on the site plan set and authorizes the chair on her authorized designee to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. Payment of all fees and escrow.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing the upgraded appearance. Any idea when you'll start?
Yeah, right now we kind of have it as a June area, but it's one of those ones where if the weather is good and we can get a couple of guys down there, we'll jump right on it.
June is still fairly soon,
Yes,
so
yes,
that-
for
we're
sure.
looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
hope the rest of the
Thanks.
meeting goes smooth for all.
Yes, me too, me too.
Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for the East Park Auto Wilberts. Good evening, gentlemen. If you could please state your name.
My name is Josh Kewen. I'm with Wilberts.
And I'm John Seidler, also with Wilberts.
May I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. So there's been a little bit of discussion back and forth. I know you held an offline conference with our consultants a couple weeks ago, and I think that cleared up a lot of the lingering questions and outstanding issues. You have also submitted an updated site plan, and so if you could just give us a quick little update.
Yeah, thanks for letting us meet offline. It was just to make sure we're getting all the notes, and because I wasn't here at the last meeting, I was on a family vacation. It was just making sure we incorporate all the facts that you guys need for zoning, or mainly just the letter of the law, and it's a lot of telephone game with me and the engineer. We're just kind of missing things, so to make sure we hit everything right. So the biggest features that were recently added were the trees on the southeast of the property, where the residents complained of glare and visibility of the vehicles. And then the other things were just making sure the buffer and the setback of the vehicles was correctly at 50 feet. And then there's just some minor things that I think Pete, the town engineer, said it would be nice to see the drainage features and the septic tank where it was, and no parking. I believe I hit most of the items, the big items.
It sounds correct to me, but we'll
Yeah.
go around if anything
Sure.
was missed or there's any more discussion needed, we'll touch on all that.
Okay.
Okay. So Tad, I know that there might be something with the sign? No?
Yeah, the sign has been resubmitted and it now meets code. The other thing was that the vehicles that are parked along the south property line are going to be pulled out. And if there are holes for visibility along that line after the cars are pulled out, there's an agreement to plant some evergreens or other trees along that line as part of the buffer. And I think there's a note on the plan that talks about that. The trees are not shown where the cars are coming out, but we did have a discussion about
Right.
that.
And I think as long as there's a note on the plan that,
I think that covers it, but.
Where are we
you know, it's
talking
up
about
to-
here? We're talking about the parking lot or in the?
no, on the
Yeah,
south,
it's
the
right
far
there.
south,
Southeast corner right here.
That corner.
Yep.
and along the southern edge,
Yeah,
All
where
the
the
way.
cars are currently.
yeah, down to about there.
When those get pulled, they may leave gaps that could hold additional plantings.
And
There
so
are
that's-
trees along that line. They're deciduous trees, but when the cars come out, there'll be openings.
Yep.
And it's up to the board if you would prefer to see plants shown along there periodically.
Okay.
I don't anticipate it to be a continuous line like is shown in the corner. I think that's a heavy area for planting. It's an important area up in that corner.
Yes.
The remainder of the line is, I don't think it's as critical, but that's up to you.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that. And we will definitely weigh in. So keep that in mind, that we have not clearly delineated exactly where the trees will go. And so let us know if you would like to see that on the site plan. Ms. Franson?
So I think the plans are in great shape. Most of the items were addressed. There were just two little items. One was, at some point, the fire district had asked that the general location of where any cars with EV batteries be located with just a note.
Yeah, so we sent them very, I guess, detailed rules of how we handle electric vehicles. We don't have plans to handle electric vehicles here. They're just, we don't even really handle them at our other facilities. They're just so completely just unsafe. And when they get like thermal runaway, you can't control them. You know, you have to have a fire blanket that costs $20,000 to put one out, you know, or something. It's just, if for some reason we did buy one, which we have no plans to, we have like specific rules of how we would separate them. But I think to like designate, we could put on there an area, but I think it would be disingenuous because we don't have plans to put them in.
If I remember, wasn't the idea that if you ever had one, you'd be putting it into a storage unit?
It would be spaced by 12 feet, no cars around it, and it would be on a sandy soil where it wouldn't be able to catch, you know, anything else on fire. And generally with electric vehicles, if they do catch on fire, the plan is to let them burn out. You can't put them out.
I think the note could say exactly that.
Yeah.
You know, in the event an EV vehicle was brought on site, just those 3 lines.
Oh, somewhere on the note on the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Bonnie was asking for.
Yeah, and I'm just repeating what the fire district had indicated. I think in the event something happens,
Yeah.
they kind of wanted to know where it was likely to happen.
Okay.
So it was for that
In
reason.
reference to policy.
And then I'd highlighted the various comments that we went over at this informal workshop. The only other item was we have standard landscaping notes that if they're dying or diseased, you'll replace them in kind. And so we suggest that get added to the map. I believe both the point with regard to the fire district and the landscape notes, standard notes, are kind of incorporated into the resolution this evening if the planning board agrees. So our other comments were addressed as per our memo that we submitted. So thank you.
Okay, great. So this would be an additional note on the, can we add this to the resolution as a condition?
The EV one, you mean?
It's in there. So
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
a resolution drafted for this evening, which includes a few conditions of approval for the board's consideration, including addition of the note about the landscape planting, revision of the site plan set to include a detail and/or note regarding location of EV storage, and then there's a potential fourth condition regarding additional evergreen trees, should the board want to go in that direction.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Anything else, Ms. Franson?
That is it. And I do believe there's a note on the plan, but it's good that it's also a condition in the resolution about the additional trees. And that's all keyed to the 2026 operating permit. So we had discussed that at the workshop, and Tad had suggested, you know, what would trigger actually reviewing and seeing if they complied. So rather than come up with something that's intermediate and kind of arbitrary, it'd probably be easy to do it when it
So
has to get
everything
renewed.
coincides at the same time?
Yeah. So that's, I think, how things are intended to be structured.
Yes, yes. I remember that also.
Yep. Thank you.
Mr. Sotero?
My comments were all set. I wrote a letter. They added the approximate locations of existing drainage swales and culverts. They added notes about the stormwater pond, maintenance notes. They referenced the DEC permit for the stormwater pond, and then they did put notes on there about that there shouldn't be any parking over the septic system. So I'm set.
Excellent, thank you so much. Ms. Polidoro?
So just to go a little bit more on Bonnie's comments, so right now there's a note on the plan that says they will put trees if there are gaps once the cars are removed prior to the renewal of the license. So it puts it off for a little bit of time. The potential condition would be that if some member of the board feels strongly that they should go in right now and you want to know exactly where it's going and you don't want to wait until the cars are moved. So that was the discussion we thought might happen tonight. So if not, we don't need condition 4.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Okay, then let me start with Mr. Tuttle.
So the way that the trees is structured right now is as a note which says that they'll work with the zoning administrator, right? To ensure that it's adequate, basically? Okay. And so when we think about that, I have sort of two concerns about that. One is continuing them, as we've discussed, along the length of that back property line. The second is whether a single line of trees is shown in that upper corner, which is where the sort of the most visibility is from, is adequate, or whether we need staggered, whether we need something additional up in that corner. I was initially thinking we should probably have this as a piece of the resolution, that it should, add X number of trees. But it does feel pretty arbitrary to me, because we don't really know. We say 20 trees, and we don't know if that's actually going to be appropriate or not.
Too many or too little.
Right. When you think about making that determination, are you going to be going out to the neighbor's property and taking a look and trying to see, how are you determining what, not to put you on the spot here, but what's adequate?
Well, I believe it gives them, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It gives them a full planting season to move things around, and they can look at it and decide where they think it's appropriate. The plants would be in when they call. I would assume you would call after they're in and say, come take a look. And I would go up and take a look, and probably from their property, because I would have to have permission from the neighbors, which they may grant, but I would think I could tell from the salvage yard property.
If you can see the house, then they can probably see the cars, right?
Yeah. And the issue, I think, was not necessarily the house. One was the screen room.
Okay.
And I think on the corner, I think that'll take care of that. And the other, there's an opening on the lot where I think it's 271, I think.
He just recorded.
Quaker, and, the cars didn't, in my recollection, they were not continuous along there, and there were trees in between, deciduous trees in between. So if there's a space that's big enough for a tree to grow into, I would think one would be there.
Right.
If it's a 5-foot opening between trees, and you're trying to plant a tree that's going to get 25 or 30 foot wide, I'm not sure that would be required.
Right. It's part of the reason the code gives us the 50-foot buffer, right? Is to try to make sure that there is adequate room for additional trees, and all right. So I think the other thing we have here is that we've been told that you're probably coming back to us for site plan in the next few years here when you go to make some improvements onto the site.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then we have an opportunity to be kind of iterative about this, where we're having plantings go in, we'll have a review by the zoning administrator, and then within a couple years here, likely you'll be back in front of us, and if there are still concerns about the screening at that point, we're going to get a chance to hear that then too. So, we're in public hearing, we may have additional public comments about it, but at this point, I think I'm okay with it being at the discretion of the zoning administrator. That's my only.
Thank you. That was an excellent discussion.
Can I just make one comment why
Yes.
the trees are just like that? Because the way it is we felt it is pretty thin in this area, and then you can see houses onto these two properties. This is an open field, and that's why we kind of left that unshielded, because there's no houses that you could see that way.
Understood.
It's an open field from the property line down.
Yep, yeah, I feel like we had heard from the neighbors last time that there were still concerns about the remainder of that, but, understood why you did it that way.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Waters?
No, I feel that, you want to be a good neighbor anyway, you don't want to hear complaints from the neighbors. So at that point, if they're saying that they could still see something, I think you said you own a tree farm.
Yes.
So, I don't think it'll be an
lift.
issue for you to pop one in if it arises. And since we don't know what the site work might be in the future, you don't want to be planting all over the place neither,
Yep.
because you might have to remove stuff, you know. So for right now, yeah, I know, it's in the buffer, but still, I think, so I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Any other comments?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Mr. Oliver?
I am 100% comfortable with Ms. Moss
Yeah.
giving a final analysis once the cars are moved and you're here to renew your license. I see no issue with that at all.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
Same, no comment.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia?
I agree with Chris. No comment.
All right. I also agree that this gives the flexibility for the zoning administrator to work with you and the neighbors, I mean, to find the best places to plant where there might be gaps. So hopefully that helps with our resolution. Are there any other comments on this? Is there? Yeah, yes. Is there anybody in the public who would
Did
like to?
we reopen it?
Yeah.
We did.
Yes.
We did? Okay, I'm sorry.
Is there anybody in the public who would like to comment? Please come on down. If you could clear a space. You might need to get up and give them a seat. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. My name's Andrew Valenti. I reside on that backside, 261 South Quaker Lane. And even though it is a field, it's horse property, and we maintain that field and we use it. Not only do I take my dog back there every day for a walk, but we ride our horses back there. So we do appreciate that buffer. And really, the buffer should not be an issue with the 50-foot setback. And there are cars in that 50-foot setback, right up into the corner there. There's quite a few.
Understood. That's all part of the
Okay.
ongoing.
Just want to make sure
They will be removed.
you understand, and
Yep.
we understand.
Yep.
We do appreciate the buffer, and appreciate you guys too. Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak to this application? Okay, so I believe we can close the public hearing and consider the resolution. I don't believe there's any changes needed.
Just deletion of condition 4.
Deletion.
Yeah, use the version that doesn't have condition 4.
Okay, so can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Thank
Second.
you. Chris. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we will be removing condition number 4. And
I have this
Dylan,
one.
you have this.
Yep. Okay. Resolution to grant special use permit and site plan approval. Wilbert's East Park Auto, March 19th, 2025. Resolution number 2024-01A. Whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board makes the following findings pursuant to section 108-8.4 of the zoning law. 1. The project will comply with the applicable requirements of Articles 4 and 5 of the zoning law. A scrapyard has been operating at the property since the 1970s, and the scrapyard is a permitted use in the Greenbelt District. The project will meet the Greenbelt standards in section 108-5.3 of the zoning law. 2. The project is consistent with the purposes of the zoning law. A scrapyard is a permitted use subject to site plan and special use permit approval. The facility will comply with the requirements for a scrapyard, including screening and maintenance of a 50-foot buffer without scrap vehicles. 3. The project will not result in any excessive off-premise noise, dust, odors, solid waste, or glare. 4. The project will not cause significant traffic congestion or overload existing roads. The hours of operation of the facility are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., although shipments may be received after hours. The property will continue to be open to the public seeking parts, although the majority of its business is now done online and through deliveries. There will be no significant increase in traffic from the project. The proposed use is suitable for the property at its proposed intensity. The proposed changes to operations of the property will increase safety by delineating aisles and eliminating existing encroachments into the 50-foot buffer. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants the applicant a special permit for a scrapyard and approves the site plan set and authorizes the chair or her authorized designee to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1. Payment of all fees in escrow. 2. Revision of the site plan set to include the following note. All landscape plantings shall be maintained for the life of the project. Dead and dying plants shall be replaced during the same or next planting season. No substitutions shall be made without approval of the town zoning administrator. 3, revision of the site plan set to include a detail and/or note regarding the location of EV storage to the satisfaction of the zoning administrator.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate you coming into Hyde Park.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Our next item on the agenda is another continued public hearing for the Belfield PUD Phase 2 Final Development Plan. Come on down. May I please get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good evening.
Good evening. All set? Okay. Larry Boudreau with Belfield, Jared O'Connor with Belfield, and of course Jennifer, our land use attorney to my right. We were here March 5th and did a presentation. We do have that presentation if any of the board members needs to see any of that. There was a recommendation over to the town board on 3/6. We met with the town board that following Monday, 3/10. We asked them to schedule a public hearing for the matter on March 24th, which is Monday, so we're scheduled to do that. And of course, we're here tonight. By way of other things moving forward, April 1st, we will be submitting the 4-lot subdivision with Lot 8 on it. Lot 8 is the apartment lot. We've submitted that earlier as a sketch plan, so it'll still be a sketch plan. So you'll see some minor improvements to that, so we'll be submitting that April 1st to be on the agenda April 16th. And then we also submitted the remainder of the subdivision back in January, and we are working on that, and we look to submit that April 22nd for the 5/7 planning board meeting. Tonight, we know there's a continuing public hearing tonight. We did review the comments sent back by county planning. We understand them, we acknowledge them, and the 3 main points of we understand the board is along Main Street, likes multi-story. We understand that. We're going to continue moving forward with that understanding in the future. We also understand that during the actual site plan and architectural review that will look into the details of the building design. We understand that, acknowledge that, and we also recognize and acknowledge the addressing the parking. We've played around with the parallel parking versus the angle parking previously, so this is a matter that we've dealt with before, and so we'll deal with it again. One thing we did do on the last meeting, we did make a correction to one of the elevations that you made a comment on. We do have that slide here. You can't really tell the difference in the elevation based on the scale, but we did make that correction.
Was that the one with the heights?
Yeah. Yeah.
That might be nice to see.
Okay, so Jared. There you go. So we were looking at a couple of things when we were planning on the height and understanding the average grade of the building. So what hasn't changed is the floor to floor on the garage to the first floor. That remains 14 feet. Then going from the first residential level all the way up to the fourth, we were looking at 12 feet at one time. This slide shows 11 feet. Then would make the average grade 63.5. Now that's an average grade when you wrap around the building and you bury. What our ask is 65 feet forward. We're still, working with this, and we're confident we can hit the 65 feet forward. But this elevation shows the 11 feet floor to floor. So the eave height is 174.5 based on a garage elevation of 116.5, and now it corresponds to the actual scale that's shown on the section.
Jared, could you blow that up just a little bit more?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe a little more. So you can see how the 174.5 sits between the 170 and the 180, and previously it did not. And then also in this section, we did include the patio home to the right there. And again, that's not graded. We have an idea of where it will land, and so we show that. That will have a walkout basement because the way the topo is, all those units will have a walkout basement.
And that walkout is to the west, is that
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sunset.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Now's a great time to be looking at
Yeah,
these type of
that
details.
was a good catch, so
Yeah.
we jumped right on it.
Yep. All right. Any other comments?
No, looking forward to the next steps and any questions that the board may have.
Well, we do have a resolution tonight to reaffirm seeker, so the town board can take action
Great.
at their special meeting next week. But I'm going to take a spin around and
Okay.
see what's up. Ms. Moss?
No comment.
Ms. Franson?
No.
Ms. Eagle Eye over there.
They've addressed, and I think it was important for you to take a look
Yeah.
at it for your own purposes, so, but thank you, that was addressed.
No, thanks. Mr. Sotero? No. Ms. Polidoro?
No comments on what they've presented tonight, but as a point of procedure, the applicant is going before the town board next week. And so they've asked that we reaffirm our seeker determination of significance to include the variations that they're asking for, that they won't have a significant adverse impact.
Excellent, okay. Going to start to my right. Mr. Gercio?
No comment.
Ms. Lee?
No comment right now, but thank you for adding the patio home to the section.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Oliver?
No comments.
Mr. Waters?
No comments.
Mr. Tuttle?
No comments right now.
Okay. Well, there you go. So we do have a resolution prepared. We are going to adjourn tonight's public hearing to April 2nd, right? Because we need the
confirm.
town board to weigh in
Okay.
and make their
Okay.
decision, and then it can come back to us procedurally. And then we can take action
Okay.
on the proposed amendment to the final development plan. Okay? So if I could get a motion to, oh, I'm sorry. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this application? There being none, can I please get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to April 2nd?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. And we do have a resolution for this.
I have that one. Resolution to reaffirm a secret determination of significance, negative declaration, FDP Amendment Number 2-Lot 8. Resolution Number 2022-27G, whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that based upon the entire record before it, the planning board hereby determines, 1, the extensive environmental record before the planning board is sufficient to assess the potential impact of the proposed FDP Amendment Number 2. 2, FDP Amendment Number 2 and its related subdivision plat relating to Lot 8 and surrounding lands are in substantial accordance with the seeker findings statement adopted by the Planning Board on December 8th, 2021, and by the Town Board as involved agency on December 20th, 2021, and will not create any significant adverse effect upon the environment, nor will it result in any new or potentially significant adverse environmental impacts that have not been previously addressed or were inadequately addressed in the existing EIS, and there is no need to prepare supplemental environmental impact statement nor any need to amend the previously adopted seeker findings. The Planning Board continues to retain jurisdiction within its final development plan, site plan, and subdivision authority to impose conditions it deems appropriate to maintain such consistency. 3, the Board hereby reaffirms its previous certification initially adopted on December 8th, 2021, that the requirements of the seeker regulations have been met and that consistent with social, economic, and other essential considerations from among the reasonable alternatives available, that the action hereby taken is one that avoids or minimizes adverse environmental impacts to the maximum extent practicable.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you
Good luck
very
on
much.
Monday.
Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks. Okay, we're coming out of public hearing mode. If the board would please entertain a change to the agenda. Mr. Kaufman has driven up here, and he is in the neighborhood and would like to have a workshop with us. And so, thank you for your forbearance in allowing us to update the agenda.
Thanks to everybody else that is affected by this. I really have very little to present. We're just here to see if the school bus alternative plan is acceptable. And if that's the case, then I think my business is done here tonight.
You want me to jump in, Ann?
Yes, please. Thank you for jumping.
Okay, so we've been working with the applicant. We're almost to the point where we can sign, or we can recommend that the site plans be signed. One of the things that was in the resolution that was amended on March the 5th was for the planning board, as Mr. Kaufman said, for the planning board to give their okay on the parking spaces for the parents for the school bus stops. I believe there was a copy of the map that was circulated that showed where the parking spaces were. There's 6 parallel parking spaces. They're located on the south side of the road, on the west side of the bridge. We've gone over that location with the highway superintendent. He's fine with it. The only thing that's up in the air is the applicant showed it's not a crosswalk. It's not a defined crosswalk, but there's a pedestrian crossing area that they have proposed to be striped the entire length of the parking spaces, which is about 120 feet long.
It almost looks like a fire lane.
Right. So I don't think we want to do that. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this before, so I'm not exactly sure what we want to do. But I'm going to go send that map to a colleague of mine, which you guys know him. We've worked with him before. HVEA. Brendan, like Fitzgerald, is like a friend of mine, so I'm going to send him the plan. He does like a lot of this stuff, and say, hey, what do you think about this? And so basically, I would just like the ability to work out, the crossing with the highway superintendent, and I'm going to consult some other colleagues, because this is a case that I really haven't seen before. So, but just like the concept of the 6 parallel parking spaces seems to be solid. The parents will cross with their children over to the north side sidewalk. The sidewalk will go across the bridge, and then they've widened the sidewalk down by 9G to provide a concrete pad where, you know, the students would be able, like, to wait for, you know, the bus to come and pick them up. So I think this is the best solution, being that, you know, the school district does not want to set a precedent and go down, you know, the cul-de-sac, although they have said that, you know, depending on how many children end up in, you know, the development, that they may in fact change that to go down the cul-de-sac if there's, you know, a lot of kids, but that's just kind of a wait and see
Right,
type thing. So that's kind of where we are, so it's just,
okay.
you know, I believe it's just, you know, a motion on the floor if the board's going to go.
So,
Yeah,
So anyway, so that's where
what-
we are.
Thank you for that explanation. And I believe everybody had a chance to see the plans that were presented. And like I said, as Pete was describing, it wasn't really a crosswalk. It was a very large area of striping.
Yeah.
If I may add, the
Please make sure you're
initial-
speaking into the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. Louis Kaufman for the applicant. If I may add, we're keeping the original cut-in for the bus. We've added 2 benches for seating. We've eliminated the shelter, which everybody says is unnecessary, and hope that they will come to their senses. The cul-de-sac that they are considering, I think I pointed this out, normally a cul-de-sac is like with 10 houses on it. This is servicing 249 apartments. I'm hoping they'll recognize a difference there. The other point is that the crosshatch is, bright line. Be aware, there may be children here. So we're willing to, provide the paint job, but, it's entirely up to you. We're trying to, I still don't think the best place for the children is 9G, but whatever. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, so,
Board,
So-
comment?
you're being asked tonight, it was a condition of approval that he comes back with an acceptable school bus plan, given all the uncertainty about where the buses were going to be.
yes,
So he's come back with a new plan, he's presented it. So you're being asked to sign off on that, to make a motion to approve that plan. So, given what we just heard from Pete, I would
Yeah.
just amend the motion slightly to say that revisions to sheet C.1 and C.1.2 dated 2/10/25 satisfy site plan approval condition 26 for school bus stop accommodation, subject to town engineer final sign-off.
that sounds perfect. Sounds perfect. But I will, if you want to talk to my colleagues and find out their thoughts. But I do want to ask, Tad, do you have any comments on this? Bonnie? Pete, you've already spoken? All right, so, Dylan?
The one thing that's kind of a shame is that there's no shelter at this concrete pad or anything. My understanding is that there can't be because of the DOT, right? Is that why? Is there a reason like that, or is it just you don't think it's necessary?
I have no comment. I have no idea what's necessary. I've given you the best solution, and
All right.
and the school doesn't like it. I don't know, maybe they'll find it objectionable to having a shelter there. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's not anything we've entertained.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, but my assumption is that without a shelter in bad weather, a lot of times they're going to be back in their car with their parents, and
That's exactly what
and
they're
then
going to
the
do.
bus is sitting there for a longer time.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
And so I can see a benefit to having the shelter there.
Yeah, what the shelter would be.
But the shelter was on the internal.
I'm saying at the new spot.
Yeah,
at
well,
the
we're gonna-
concrete pad that they're putting down.
Yeah, that
by-
was
by
not
G.
entertained. I'm
Right.
not sure of the legalities of that.
So that's my question.
Well, I guess the other thing too is, I guess if it became an issue and, the parents, there's no HOA because it's apartments. But if the parents, as the project went on, I guess if they complained about it, maybe the applicant would consider putting a shelter there at some other point
You're
in time.
encouraging the school not to take the safest route.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so, yeah, the quandary that
And
you're
there is
getting
no
at is the,
shelters
like,
anywhere else on Route 9G
Yeah,
for
there are
school
none.
children, nor are there pads. So I don't understand why we're going to these extraordinary lengths to accommodate a school bus that should be coming in.
I hear you
Ideally,
understand.
yeah.
I do, you know, so as an example, when the Hopewell Glen project went in East Fishkill, or everyone was concerned about the number of students, my understanding is there were like 15 out of that entire project that went in the school district. So sometimes it's surprising how few. So I understand, frankly, why the school district wants to take a wait and see approach to this, but I'm also very sympathetic to the idea. There's this question, right, like, everybody crosses at this particular place. Do we put a crosswalk there? Well, if you put a crosswalk there, then it's going to make people think it's safe to cross there, even when it's not. It's a problem we run into a lot, right? So by putting a shelter there, are we, as you say, confirming this, or are we making the best of what the school district has required of us here? I don't know. So I guess I would rather see a shelter there, but I'm curious to hear what my colleagues think. The second thing, just on the striping and everything, is it too much to ask for, like, this is a pretty straight road going back there. Would a speed table or something be crazy? I mean, I'm
I
asking
don't
Pete
think the
here.
highway superintendent would go for that.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah.
On a private site, it'd be different, but I can tell you that I think that most highway superintendents would not, like, go for a speed hump.
Right.
Table, not hump. I know that's different for
Yeah,
plows,
you're
but-
right, I'm sorry,
but,
that's right. Speed table.
But, okay, worth asking.
No, it was, I thought about it also.
Yep. I think signage and some basic things like that could probably do the trick here.
And it's
gonna be a
pretty
little bit
open
volume.
there, I mean, it's not like there's like a
Yeah.
curve or anything.
Right. It's just a straightaway, so you can see speeds, I guess, but, all right.
There
so-
will be signage.
Yeah, great. Okay.
No,
so that's-
excellent observations and discussion. I mean, if you drive on 9G, there are no bus shelters.
Right.
If you go on 9G in the morning, there's tons of cars all parked at the ends of roads, and kids just pile out and go running down the middle of the road to get on the bus.
I think what makes this a little different for me, for one thing, is the presence of the bridge and how far back the parking spaces are from, so it's not like they're right at the end of the road. And also, like, that is the situation on a lot of those side streets, but we have the opportunity here to make that not a situation, to do something a little better than that, to provide a
Well,
shelter.
we
but-
tried by putting a bus shelter
Yeah.
and everything
Understood.
internal, so,
Understood.
yeah, we're trying to balance all potential issues here, but no, excellent observations. Mr. Waters?
Yes, although I would love to have a bus shelter there, but if that was the appropriate place, I don't believe that bus stop is the appropriate place for it near 9G. I think it would be better if they went into the site and picked up the children. But, so I can't really, suggest put a shelter there, and because I think it would encourage them not to go down the road when they find out there's 200 children to pick up or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea how many
Could be a
children there are.
resurgence, you never know.
So, yeah, so that being said, I'm done with the comments on it. I
Okay,
think.
great.
And I'm okay with Pete, signing off on anything, because he has an eagle eye for that stuff, so. I make
Thank you
that
very much for
choice.
those comments. Mr. Oliver?
So I'm too fine with Pete signing off on the finals, and I'm absolutely disappointed with the school district for their decisions on this. And being a father of 2 young children, I think it makes 0 sense. And the fact that the applicant is willing to go above and beyond for a nice bus stop down the road, I'm sad to see it. So no, I do not want to see a bus stop out on Route 9.
Thank you.
Or, I mean, a shelter, sorry.
Yes, understood. Ms. Lee?
I mean, I concur with what was just said. No other comment.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia?
I have no words. I think the school district's incorrect. Having a bus stop on Route 9, I grew up on Route 9. It's gotten much worse there with the traffic and the speed and et cetera. And it's just going to be a problem because people are going to park before the bridge, and the kids are gonna run to the bus stop. They do it all over, and it's just gonna continue, so no shelter on Route 9G, because I think they're gonna change their mind.
Thank you very much. I concur with my colleagues. And, you know, we did, when we spoke with the schools, I understand their dilemma. And, you know, I just think that with 249 apartments at full build-out, they're going to end up coming in. So I agree, I don't really want to see a bus shelter out on Route 9G where it would indicate that that's the permanent place. This is hopefully a temporary for a few students until everybody moves in and starts using the school system. So if that's helpful, I think we can do the motion. And if I remember your wording, can I get a motion to approve the bus stop with revisions that is acceptable to the town engineer?
Yes, it was subject to town engineer final sign-off.
Subject to town engineer final say. Chris made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
sir.
I think you just wanted to see us again. Lynn.
I know, we couldn't go for,
I'm waiting for it.
I know.
Jameson will full back. He's going to get an apartment here, I think.
I thank Relier Properties for your forbearance on that. Please come on down, you're the next item on the agenda. Please state your name and,
Yeah, Joseph Berger, Berger Engineering.
thank you.
Stephen Relier, Red Cedar.
Welcome back.
Relier. How are you?
I guess we're here for a workshop just to go over what we've done.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's taken some time.
That's quite all right, happy to see you
Yeah,
back.
So during that time, we did make some minor changes to the buildings. The large hoop building in the back is being replaced.
Can you say that again, which one?
The large hoop building. Do you have the map there? No, I have a map here.
That's okay.
You can pull it out, it's under Relier on the list.
Ah,
You can find it on the list
Yeah,
there
you
and
can
select
use
it.
the mouse.
Oh,
You could
well,
use
yeah,
the
I thought
mouse.
you were doing it. Sorry.
God bless you, I can't see it from here.
I can't see it either. That's why I was wondering.
I don't think anybody fed that
Which one is it? You could read that? Bless you. I can't read any of them. Which one is, you see?
Down two more, down two more. There you go.
oh, there you go,
Right there.
eagle eye.
Good glasses.
Oh, now what are you going to do, Joe?
I have no idea.
Man,
You guys see
I
anything?
can't see it.
Some of you need to update your prescriptions.
We need to be able to make the
Just start
font
bringing
bigger
it.
too.
The site plan SP2, which is, is that like?
Can we zoom it?
They're dated at the beginning, so.
Before they
Are you trying to
leave,
find the site plan?
Control plus.
Yeah, it's gonna have the old and the new on there, though. The new are probably the top one.
That one on the top?
Hold on, we're getting, reinforcements are coming, hold on.
Somebody with eyes?
You can use a touchpad, honey, if you want.
So properties along, these are 3, 4, property lining, property north elevation, south elevation, SP2.
Yeah, that'd be good. SP2 would be good. Yeah, that's probably the best one.
Go up one.
Go up one.
Nope, I guess not.
Try again.
Yeah, I can have there, put them in there.
Oh, no, no.
Let's try it.
No, 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 this one.
Right there?
Right there.
No, that's the one we just said.
So maybe we need SP1.
That-
SP1's here.
This one there? Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Maybe Michelle should send him in one.
What is
And that
this?
you can definitely enlarge.
Oh, there it is, way over there. Why?
Ah, thank you.
And the pan.
And down on the bottom, you have to use the
Oh, you have
scroll.
the slide?
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay, the hoop building was over in here.
Okay.
We're eliminating that. We're adding, this building here is A6, is being replaced with a larger building just for contractor storage use. And then we're putting a smaller hoop building right here. Those are the three. Well, metal building, excuse me. Smaller building right here. So the hoop building, which was way back here, we're not doing it anymore.
Well, that was a pole barn.
Yeah,
There's a
well,
pole
we call
barn.
it-
There is a hoop there now.
Then this one, which is the small building there,
house.
the house, if you want to call it that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yep,
Is
yep, I
being
remember
replaced
that.
with the contractor storage, and then this small building right there.
Which one was the mushroom building?
That should be this one right here, I believe.
Yep.
My eyes are correct.
Okay, so there's no changes to that one?
No.
We're all obsessed with the mushroom building.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah.
That hasn't stayed. That hasn't changed.
Okay.
And we updated the map we finally got the surveyor out there. That's what was our delay. I think there's a shortage or something. So we got the survey done over in here to show where all the existing piles were, and added that to the plan. And some of the other things that you asked to be verified on the site plan, we had the surveyor go out and verify.
Oh, excellent, thank you. All right,
Pretty much, other than
all right. So
Comments.
we're continuing this.
concerns that you have, and
You've also been working with DOT?
yes,
And I noticed
We've
that the
submitted to
north,
them.
I noticed at the north entrance, you've been trying to block that
Yeah.
to get people used to not using it.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'll let him comment on that.
And that they, and the DOT has allowed you to use the south one,
Well, the south one is there now, but
Right.
we're going ahead with that procedure, yes.
right, which they approved last year. All right, so I'm going to start with comments. Ms. Moss?
In our first review, there is a fenced enclosure that has been used for a couple of vehicles to be put there, and that was to be taken off of the plan. I believe you're probably going to want to put that back on the plan because we have an application for a tow yard
Yes.
at this location. So you're going to need an enclosed chain link fenced
I
area.
believe you left it there. It's the one-
It's partially on the neighbor's property, so it's going to have to be moved.
Well, we had the surveyor clarify that. Actually, the way the original surveyor showed it, it looked like it was, there's a fence, the back fence, which would be the north fence, it's actually the fence from the neighbor. Our side fences, which go on the east and west, go up to the property line, there's like a 6-inch gap between them. So it
And
doesn't really go over. When the surveyor originally drew it, he drew it as a box.
You don't need a reason.
So it's-
I'm going to
that
have to
rear
look
fence
at
is
it.
not our
There's
fence.
a requirement for parking to not be within 5 feet of the property line. I'll have to see where that is in the code relative to whether it's site plan or whether it's residential.
So you would
You
want
would-
maybe another fence 5 feet inside? Is that what would be what
You
you
would
want?
need to locate it
north.
so that it would be
Okay.
5 feet from a property line.
Okay, the fence that you see there now is an existing from the neighbor, not ours. We don't have a north fence.
There's-
So to keep it 5 feet away, we'd have to add a fence there. Okay.
There's
Well, I think
there's
you're gonna have
also a
to-
requirement for lighting of the area,
Okay.
the fenced area,
Okay.
and lighting is to be on the site plan.
Okay.
I don't know how bright it has to be or what the other requirements are, but that's
check on
something
that.
that we would need to
Okay.
look at. But I would be glad that something was approved.
Yes.
So, I don't know how big this area is needed for this use.
Okay.
It's currently, I think it only fits like 3 cars or
It's
something.
about 3 cars now, yes.
So I don't know if you need something larger,
Yeah,
or
three-
how
three
the
more.
access will work. You think that's fine, and the access for the tow trucks coming in
Yeah,
and
come in from
depositing
the
the cars
east,
is
they back in
okay?
from the east, so.
Okay.
So putting a fence on the north side is not
Joe,
gonna
can you use the
problem.
microphone, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the tow trucks come in from the east, so putting another fence 5 feet from the property line is not gonna be a problem.
Okay.
And it would be a fenced enclosure, correct?
Yeah, well, we have 3 sides now. They were using the fence on the neighbor's property.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so you-
gotcha, yep.
So it was, in sense, you couldn't drive through it because it was only like that much difference. But we'll pull it back 5 feet, so it's now complete 4. I understand now.
Move it completely.
Anything else, Ms. Moss? No. Ms. Branson?
We're in the process of reviewing this. on the one hand, we're comparing against our 2024 comments. On the other hand, there's a new building and some changes again. So we're doing it.
We understand that, yeah. We understand that.
So we'll have a memo very shortly.
Okay.
But we want to in particular look at the scale again. Make sure you're within those requirements that have been established the first approval go-around.
I believe we think we are, but we'll let you.
We'll go through that.
Yes.
And then we want to also just especially check the parking again.
Of course.
To make sure everything's calculated, et cetera.
Of course.
But again, a lot of the comments were addressed, but now we have to look at the new. So, thank
Understood.
you.
Yep. Mr. Sotero?
Sure. Joe, on that new building that you show there, is that going to have any water and sewer, or just like storage, straight like storage?
It's storage, but we're going to still use the septic that's there, connect to it. There's already there for that building, so we'll put a toilet in it for the employee that works there.
All right. I mean, not to excuse me, not to make too big of a deal, but you may have to check with the health department just to, like the old system served. I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. 3 like employees.
Sure, I'm only going to have 1 now, so.
All right. Well, all right. So whatever.
But we'll look at that.
So that's something. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll check with them and we'll work it out with you.
So the other thing I was thinking about, and I think we brought it up, the last time, is the site, any site improvements on a site plan are usually tied to something that's going to be built on the site, like a building or something like that. So I believe that the mushroom building, I don't believe that needs a building permit or a CO. Or we're not sure.
You're gonna have to deal with the buildings.
Okay.
There'll probably be some inside work in the building that will pull a building permit.
Okay. So, all right. Well, if that's the case, then my question was like, the DOT closing off of the entrance. Joe's proposed some stormwater improvements in the back. If there was no building permits involved, then we would have to come up with like a mechanism. But if there's a building permit involved, then we tie the improvements, the site improvements to a permit, a CO.
So we'll have at least 3 for the new building, the mushroom building, and then the small building in the front will have permits.
Yeah.
For that.
Well, I mean, I think we don't have to decide this now, but I think if you, I believe that the stormwater improvements are more so for, the landscape stuff in the back, your bioretention area.
Correct.
Okay, so that, reworking that area back there for landscape, that obviously doesn't require like a building-like permit. So I would say that because you're not like assured that they're going to come back for the second building permit for the bigger building, so maybe we talk about tying all of the site improvements, including the DOT entrance, to their certificate of occupancy for, the mushroom thing. It's just, we can discuss that. That's not something we need to, hash out like today, because, they may not come back for the
Right.
second building.
Understood.
Right.
And they may, so,
We typically see triggers
right,
that
exactly.
force
Right,
that you have to do this step before you can get to that step.
Understood.
so, but anyway, so we'll look at it. I don't think there's a lot on our end.
Yeah, no, I mean, there isn't, but it's nice to coordinate everything and
Yeah, understood.
get everything lined up. Ms. Polidoro?
Just when you were going over the changes before, did you say that they've already put up the new building?
Oh, no.
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 No,
Okay.
nothing's been done.
All right.
No.
Just checking. I thought
I'm
you said
sorry.
it was
It's
already
long
done.
day.
Nobody would do
If I said that, I apologize. It's been a long day.
Who would do
I didn't hear you say that, no.
If I had, I'm not saying I didn't. Long day.
So, I mean, the board should decide whether these changes are substantive enough to go back to county planning.
Okay.
It's up to the board. And the board does want to schedule another site walk.
Yes, I was going to bring that up,
out.
yes. Okay, I'm going to start to my left. Mr. Tuttle.
Yeah, much of the discussion on this predates me on the board here, so I'm getting caught up a little bit. I think a site visit's going to be helpful.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on
There is.
here for sure. So I don't have anything at this moment. Before we come out to the site, I'll spend some time with it to make sure I know what's going on. But
Thank you. Mr. Waters. You did go on the site walk, I
Yes.
believe. Yes.
Yes, I did.
A very cold day.
Yes, yeah. And like I said, I just need to review it myself a little bit further. But
Understood.
and the site walk will help again to refresh everything because it's been tabled for a little while. So I think that'd be good. And then you can explain where, what the buildings are in relation to the other buildings and stuff. So, but other than that, that's all I have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Oliver?
Given the site and the changes that you proposed, I don't see a need to resend to Dutchess County Planning. I think there's no, high traffic or bunch of employees or anything like that. So I'm not sure I see the need to recirculate to Dutchess County Planning. But other than that, I have no other comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
My comments are tying the site improvements to the initial COO sounds like a pretty good idea, and I'm also looking forward to the site visit because I have not been on site yet, so thank you.
Mr. Curcio?
I agree with Chris. I have no other comment.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Don't really know I don't know what I feel about the county planning referral comment. Perhaps after the site walk, I might actually have a feeling one way or the other.
Okay.
But yes, a site walk would definitely be helpful for all of us,
Okay.
especially given
Well, we did with them.
now that things are shifting around a little bit more.
Absolutely understand.
That'd be great.
Okay.
So if you could work with Cynthia and Cynthia will work with us.
Tomorrow morning?
In general, it would need to be a weekend,
Yeah, I understand. I was just really
although I
curious.
have recently retired, so I can do any day, but I would like to
That's
try
not
to
a
say
problem.
when all the colleagues.
Weekend's not a problem.
Yes.
So we'll work with Cynthia on the date. Okay.
Thank you.
Will do.
Just a consideration that if anybody's on the fence about sending it to county planning, theoretically we could do that now. And by the time we do the site visit and everything, the 30 days are going to be up, within 2 meetings here. And so we probably wouldn't. My concern is that we wait for a couple weeks, decide
And then you have
it's
to wait another
necessary,
30 days.
and then refer it, and then we're delaying things by referring it later.
True.
So that's the only thing I would put out there.
I'm always a fan of the county seeing what's going on in Hyde Park. I mean, I don't have like I said, I don't have a thought one way or the other. But since there are changes,
The safest bet actually is to send it. We were looking back to when we last sent it, and I have a note that you wanted to send it in January 2023, but then there was discussion about it being ready. So I'm not sure. I think we should resend it.
Or send it.
Or send it.
Okay.
yeah, how about if we send it? Okay, so that actually really helps a lot.
Okay.
Because I was wondering if it was 23 or 24.
Make a motion.
Yeah, if we just do it, then we don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
It's a
Right.
timing
Excellent-
issue and it'll
excellent
help you.
point.
I
No
think.
problem.
Yeah.
So can we do that by motion?
Yes, motion to refer.
May I
to
get a
county-
motion to refer this to county planning under section 239M?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
There
So
you go.
Cynthia, just one set over to you? Okay, not a problem.
All right, so we will work to pick a beautiful day to go out and walk the site. The last time we went there was so cold.
You may want to do that.
Nice.
Wow.
See you driving up tomorrow.
There you go.
Thank you. Good seeing
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.
Thank
Berger.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. So the rest of the evening, we have a bunch of waivers and resolutions to read.
30 seconds left.
Our first one up is St. James Episcopal Church. We have a site plan waiver under recommendation from our zoning administrator for an HVAC system for the apartment that's on that. Rob, I believe you have this.
That's me, yeah.
Yep.
St. James Episcopal Church, 4526 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, March 19, 2025, Resolution 2025-05, whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by St. James Episcopal Church for the installation of a HVAC unit on the property associated with the Employee Housing Unit Apartment A in the Parish Hall, requiring a building permit, and whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the HVAC unit as described in the building permit received by the Building Department December 10th, 2024, and per the request to the Planning Board dated March 11th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is, oh, okay, we moved that one up. Bear Hollow Subdivision Road Bond.
I've got this one.
This, Pete, do you want to give us just a quick little,
Yeah, this has been a subdivision that has been sitting for a while. The
one of the first ones we approved when I came on the board.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's beautiful there. And the road and most of the drainage system was put into the binder course of asphalt. It is, it sat for a while, and now, the applicant or the owner has a builder that's interested in building, and so we need to update, the road bond. He's ready to pull some building permits, and we need to get, the road bond in place, and then we're also going to do, not that this affects this board, but we also will do a drainage district so that the homeowners of the subdivision will be responsible for the maintenance of the drainage system within, the subdivision, and not the general population of the town have to contribute towards that. So, but that's with the town board. So.
It's nice to see some traction on that.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful site.
Yeah, it is really. I mean, the lots are nice.
I remember we were looking
They're
down
big.
on that from that subdivision up on Cream Street a couple years ago. We could see, the small
Yeah.
subdivision. Dylan, I believe you have this.
I do. Yep. Resolution setting bond amount, Bear Hollow subdivision, March 19th, 2025, Resolution 2020-23A. Whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Planning Board of the Town of Hyde Park hereby sets the amount of the required performance guarantee for the construction of Bear Hollow Lane at $305,000 in form, sufficiency, and manner of execution acceptable to the Town Board and Town Attorney.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda, CMJS Business LLC, here for a site plan waiver, again for HVAC, and they're at 14 Commer Place. John, I believe you have
Yep.
this one.
CMJS Business LLC, 14 Commer Place, Hyde Park, New York, 12538. Site plan waiver, date April 3rd, 2025, Resolution 202506. Whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives the site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received March 5th, 2025, and per the request of the Planning Board received on March 17th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is a site plan waiver for roof-mounted photovoltaic panels for Robin Moore.
I have that.
Thank you.
Robin Moore's, 75 Fuller Lane, Hyde Park, New York, 12538. Date March 19th, 2025, Resolution 2025-07. Whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Robin Moore on March 18th, 2025 for the property located at 75 Fuller Lane in Town of Hyde Park. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received by the Building Department on January 10th, 2025, and per the request to the Planning Board dated March 18th, 2025.
Is there a second?
John?
Yes.
Second, okay.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Next item is another site plan waiver. This is for approval of replacement windows for Jason and Carrie Teed.
Yep, I've got this one. Teed, Jason and Carrie, 20 Rogers Place, site plan waiver, March 19th, 2025, resolution 2025-08. Whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Jason and Carrie Teed to replace 4 windows, remove a chimney, and repair siding on the existing single-family home. And whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department on March 14th, 2025, and in the building permit application dated March 14th, 2025.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, a sign permit recommendation for a wall sign at Bambini Pediatrics.
This one's mine?
Yes, yours.
Bambini Pediatrics wall sign, March 19th, 2025, Resolution 2025-9. Whereas, be it resolved, the Planning Board hereby recommends the zoning administrator issue to sign permit of Bambini Pediatrics as submitted by 4232 Albany Post Road LLC and Fast Signs on March 3rd, 2025.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Another sign permit recommendation, this time for a freestanding sign for Bambini Healthcare.
Resolution recommendation for issuance of sign permit pursuant to Town Code Section 108-24.3A4D. Resolution number 2025-10, whereas, be it resolved that the Planning Board hereby recommends the zoning administrator issue the sign permit for Bambini Healthcare as submitted by 4232 Albany Post Road LLC and Fast Signs on March 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries.
Exciting that they're coming to town.
Excuse me?
It's exciting that.
Oh, okay.
Pediatric.
And where is this?
It's the old Rainbow Healing Arts building.
Oh, the old Rainbow Healing
yeah.
Arts
They're
building.
moving
Excellent.
From Poughkeepsie, I think right now their current location's across from the Palestiners.
Excellent. Yes, well, we're very excited to
Definitely be a
have,
good addition.
very excited to have them coming to Hyde Park. Thank you
great.
for pointing that out. Yes, welcome to Hyde Park. There are no other items on the agenda. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make them, yep.
Second.
It's okay.
Rob, you gotta be fast.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm thinking all the time.
Any nays or abstention? Motion
You're quick.
carries.
He's on.
The motion to
Yep.
adjourn is usually the fastest.
Tomorrow
one to go.
afternoon, after your...
Bambini